So we've got Jeremiah Collins here. He is the head of XBN Leverage and a passionate advocate for leveraging technology to design, build, and scale success. As a previous director of operations for one of our network's highest producing teams, he brings experience, knowledge, and energy to helping all those he connects with to build an experiential life and business by design, not by default. He's always excited to collaborate and welcomes opportunities to add value to the lives of agents in our network and beyond. And with that, I'll go ahead and turn things over to Jeremiah. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate you guys. Can you guys all hear me? Let's just do a sound check before we get started. Sounds okay? Okay, good. Aaron, we have got to get that bio updated. It sounds like I'm like a robot is reading it or AI wrote it for me. It's awful. I'm pretty sure that I wrote it though, so that's sort of embarrassing. Well, listen, folks, as Aaron did say, my first name is Jeremiah. I am the XBN Division Director for Leverage, and I could not be more excited to be with you guys here today. As we get started, I need to share my screen. Let me do that first. I always forget the technology piece that's most important. Okay, can everyone still see my screen now? And no, I can't obviously see all of you, so let me try that again. There we go. All right, perfect. So before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping things. First and foremost is I am aware that I talk rather fast, and I apologize in advance. I'm going to talk about this fast the entire time. But what I am really good at is making sure that we give you guys plenty of time to ask questions, to get clarity, and for us to really kind of get real about our social media lead capture. I am going to ask as a personal and professional favor that as you're engaged and on this call, that as much as you can possibly do so, please try to be on camera and feel free to unmute yourself as we kind of like take this journey together. This is meant to be interactive, meaning that I do have an expectation that we'll have questions. I have an expectation that we'll collaborate and we're all going to learn and grow together. Are you guys excited and are you in? Like hands in, let's do this. Okay. So if you are in a spot to be here for capturing leads with social media, you've landed in the right place. As an overview today, we're going to be talking about just like an inordinate amount of things that are going to be super duper exciting. And I'm hoping to give you some really, really practical things for you to hit the ground running in your social media campaigns and in that part of your business. Let's get started by talking about today's agenda. So by the end of our course today, we're going to be able to identify and employ a 10-5-1 engagement system to connect your network via social media. You're going to be able to like not only understand, but also explain the importance of limiting your social media practices to about 20% of business content, which is really interesting, right? And then identify some social media engagement strategies that you can use that will add value to your business and to the lives of those people in your network and around you. Does that sound fun? Okay. So as we get started, what I'm going to ask you guys to do is let's take, and I mean 2 minutes when I say 2 minutes, let's take 2 minutes right now. And what I'd like for you guys to do is inside of your, and I don't know if this is the right one, but your participation guide, I would like for you to write down for me 2 or 3 either questions or things that you would like to get out of our time today. And as I do with my kids, the imaginary like timer, and go. Okay, who is feeling brave and wants to share 1 or more things on their list that they want to get from our time today or questions that they have? Melissa, hit me.
So one of the biggest things is just like what kind of specific content is really beneficial for social media, you know, outside of like basic stuff. Is there anything that we can get creative and how to get creative with the social media?
Yeah, so we're going to talk a lot about that and have some really awesome collaboration time during our strategy. That's kind of at the back end of the presentation. So I wrote that in my notes now. We will definitely address that. Who else would like to share?
I'll go. I have questions around personal pages versus business pages. And I know in the past there's been situations where people who post on their personal page about business with, using dollar signs or whatever, having issues. I'm wondering what the social media temperature is around that right now with algorithms and things like that.
All right, that's good. We'll also talk about that in best practices and strategies. So we're definitely going to dip into that. Who else would like to share?
Which group of people when using social media are you likely to capture, and which one are you likely to miss out on?
So groups of people, is that what I heard? Try that again.
Yes, when you are on social media, which groups of people are you likely to capture, and which ones are you likely not to capture?
Great. Yep. Good questions. Okay. We've got time for one more. Who else wants to share? We're going to answer at once. Okay. I'll pose a different question. So as we're thinking about social media, right? That's what we're all here for. Who would like to be brave and tell me what social media platforms are you using and how many followers do you have on each platform? There's no wrong answer. Zero judgment. I'm from curiosity. Catherine?
I haven't even got my license yet. I'm still waiting for a background, so I haven't done a business Facebook yet.
So you don't have social medias at all?
Pardon?
Are you not on any social media platforms at all? Yes.
Just my own personal Facebook.
Okay, how many followers there?
Oh gosh, I don't know. 90, I guess. 90 friends.
Cool. Dee, did I see you were going to answer too?
I'm just trying to figure out how I need to look at that, and I don't even know. I don't pay attention to that. So
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. But a great place to start, right? Like start with data so we can make the best decisions. All right. So as we get started today, I want to contemplate this quote that Gary had put in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And he says, it takes time to learn something, more time for you to implement it, and then yet even more longer to approach mastery of it. So as we're thinking about approaching mastery or even maybe just implementing social media in our lives, I think to me, this is both a reminder, right, that like it will take us some time to do that. And we have to offer ourselves the space, time, and grace to be able to develop those skills, but also just another reminder that we're on a journey together. And social media, as you build out your channels and your platforms and your messaging and your content, that's all going to be a journey, and it starts today. Are you guys excited like me? I'm very, very excited. Let's get started. Okay. So as we get started, before we go much further, we're going to be talking about our 10-5-1 engagement process. I just want to be sure, and I'm going to check and see if there's a slide. There's not. Okay. As we get started, I want to make a blanket disclaimer. Please, please, please follow all appropriate TCPA and social media guidelines for advertising and housing restrictions in your area across Oregon and the nation. It is my goal to keep each and every one of you out of real estate jail and also out of the court system arbitration, because you have reached out to, engaged with, marketed to, or otherwise sent information to people who have said no solicitation to me, please. You can find a copy of those rules on NAR's website. And if any of you guys want to reach out to me after, I'll happily send you guys the link that you can go to explore all the rules that are associated with making sure that you are engaging with people in the most, in the best, most engagement way, right? But also the most legal way to keep yourselves out of trouble. All right, so let's talk 10-5-1. As part of our daily success system, we're going to be liking, commenting, and direct messaging people across our social media profile. So who can remind us of what 10-5-1 stands for? Nobody? I know there's people on this call who know the answer because you've been in my classes before. So 10-5-1 stands for 10 likes, 5 comments, and 1 direct message, right? So as we start thinking about, before we even get to the place of like, hey, what do we like? How do we like it? What do we do there? I have a quick question for you guys about our second activity of the day, and that is like where you're connecting on social media. So I would like for you guys to look at your participation guides, and I would like for you to write down all the social media platforms that you know that you would use. And we're going to take like exactly a minute to do that. Write down all the social media platforms either that you use or that you want to use or that you think would be useful for you to use in your business.
Question, can you, while we're
yes.
doing that, would you be able to add the link into the chat box
It's,
for,
it's rather long, otherwise I totally would type it. I don't have like it copied and pasted. I have to like leave the presentation to get it for you. So. I
Okay,
can
I'll
use chat
remember to
box.
send you, a text or something or email. Awesome, thank you.
I will put my email address though in the chat, and then you guys can just email me those who want that link or those who need that link. There you go. Okay, so who is again feeling brave and will tell us what platforms that they either use, they've heard of, or they want to use?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest currently.
She's on Facebook, she's on Instagram, and great. What other platforms?
I'm on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I was on Workplace. But I have Facebook, LinkedIn, Nextdoor, Instagram, and I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? So far, we've got Pinterest, Nextdoor, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Any other places we should be?
Twitter, probably.
TikTok,
Ooh, Twitter. TikTok, that's on my list.
that new Thread one.
Yeah. I don't know that Thread's the right. We'll talk about Thread. It's an interesting tech advancement. Skylar writes in the chat, YouTube. Thanks, Skylar. That's a good one. Okay, the reason I asked you guys to make a list is because oftentimes as agents, we kind of forget where people are. And I want to remind you that as you're thinking about building out a social media platform or system for yourself, it makes a lot of sense for you to choose platforms where the most people exist. So what I did for you is I made a list where all the people are on social media. And I don't think the list will surprise you because all the major players that you guys mentioned are on there, but maybe where they're on the list will surprise you. Okay, so who can guess what the number one is? Number one social media
Facebook.
platform on Earth right now is Meta.
Facebook.
You are right, it is. It's Facebook, Meta at 3.03 billion users. At number two, anybody care to take a guess? At number two.
Instagram.
Not
I'm
quite.
gonna think Twitter.
No. Actually, Skylar had the win. YouTube is the second largest used platform on the face of Earth, with 2.56 billion people using it. Now, I bring this up on purpose because YouTube is kind of one of those platforms that a lot of agents, a lot of business owners kind of sleep on. And the reason I say that is because video has become paramount for advertising and marketing in your business. And yet we don't think about YouTube as being kind of a marketing profile. Second only to Google, YouTube is the most archived search engine on the face of Earth, in addition to having the second largest following at 2.562 billion users, which means if you're not on YouTube, I highly recommend you get on there. And we can talk a lot about what kind of content we can put on there too, because there's a lot of exciting ideas. Okay, number third is WhatsApp. It's a messaging service, but it's something that's used kind of in tandem with Meta, so 2 billion. Instagram came in fourth at just under 2 billion. WeChat's 1.3 billion. TikTok at 1.09 billion. LinkedIn has 930 million users, so we're changing from billion to million there. Snapchat had 750 million. Pinterest, I didn't actually pull it out because it didn't make it into the top 10. Neither did Nextdoor or Twitter. Imagine that.
Interesting.
So when we think about where we're going to spend our time and what platforms would you guys choose? I know which ones I've already chosen, but which platforms make the most sense?
For me, it would be Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, yes.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So as now that we know what platforms we're going to be on, let's talk about that 10-5-1 system. First of all, with our 10 likes. So, you're probably already doing this in your personal life anyway, where you're scrolling through your feed and you're liking 10 things, right? And social media is fantastic as a tool because number one, it's free to use, right? And so like you can like things just by sitting on the couch and viewing your content. So when you're thinking about interacting with others on social media to build your business, like, are you already employing a liking system that allows you to do that? I would venture that like you could just sit on your couch and like 10 or 15 things in a matter of 5 minutes, right? But what I'm suggesting to you in this class maybe is the idea that we should be liking things intentionally. We should be seeking out things inside of our feeds and in the lives of those people that we're connected with that allows us to have like an intentional like. So someone give me an example of what might be an intentional like. Y'all have clients on Facebook, right? Yeah. When you're thinking about liking things and you're going to spend your 10 or 15 likes a day, do you think that it might be a good idea to spend those likes on the people who know you, like you, and trust you in real life? So what I'm getting at is like, you don't have to mindlessly thumb through the feed and just like whatever comes up, right? Instead, we should be seeking out the people in your database, seeking out the people in your world, seeking out the people who have transacted with you, even if you'd like to, and making sure that we're intentionally using that social capital in the form of likes every single day in a way that gets people to know us, like us, and trust us faster and more often. Is that fair? Because at the end of the day, when we're thinking about social media or anything we're going to do, people want to, they want to buy, sell, and invest in a house with a human, not a robot. Because I'll tell you what, I've got systems and chatbots right now that do a much better job of liking stuff than I ever will. But you know what? It doesn't translate when it comes to making sure that our likes are intentional to the people that are most important and the people who need it. So this seamlessly transitions me into our conversation about our 10 likes and now our 5. Oh, sorry, I haven't been advancing the slides, guys. No one said anything. You're just like, what are you doing? Okay, 10 likes and now our 5 comments. So when we're thinking about how we give our comments, treat it the same way that we treat our likes. How can we connect with our clientele, with our database, and with the people in our lives that are really important to us and use comments to do it? Who's got a suggestion?
Well, pay attention to what's important to them.
Yeah.
If they're always posting dog pictures, comment about their dog.
Yeah. And how long do you think it should take you to comment? How long do you think these 5 comments should take you per day? I have a best practice.
I don't know.
This should be like 30 seconds per post. So your entire comment section should take you less than 5 minutes to do. If it's taking you longer than that, I guarantee you're overthinking it. Sometimes we get on social media, right? And we're like commenting something like, oh, we got to make that really special. You're not riding the grapes of wrath here, right? Like it's meant to engage with people quickly to let them know you're thinking about them, that it was intentional, and that you're invested in their lives, in their future, and that you care. That's really what the comment is like. So let's do a fun exercise, because I love exercises and activities and strategies. Let's talk about or brainstorm some comments we can have. Who will be brave and tell me something that they posted on social media today? And I'll give you an example of comment. Well, who posted on social media today? Catherine, yes. What did you post on social media? I love it. What did you post?
About my dog and her new puppy.
You posted about your dog and there's a new puppy. Okay. So here's what I might post. Can't get enough of that puppy cuteness. Heart emoji, doggy emoji, smoochy emoji. If you wanted to make it even more intentional, Catherine, make a point to connect you and the dots with the comment, such as, Catherine, I cannot wait to cuddle that adorable puppy. I'm calling you now to schedule my appointment. What did I just do there?
Yeah, we're gonna have a meetup. We're interacting.
And it's entirely possible as part of that interaction, we'll talk real estate. Why? Because I'm an expert in real estate and I'm very passionate about helping people in my world. So it's entirely possible that will happen. That's not the intention of my post, but it is the outcome. Fair? Okay, who's got another one? Let's do another.
I didn't post, sorry.
That's okay. So what I want to make sure that I instill upon you guys here during this time is the idea that your post comments can be simple and they can be directed to the person. And then I would then take it a little step further and make it applicable so that it creates an opportunity for you to have a conversation or have an interaction, right? Like you could just post it and leave it alone and move on with your day. That's fine. I would say that the people who are doing this really, really well are the ones who are commenting and creating an opportunity for us to connect in a real way, in real life, as like real life humans, right? Instead of just over the interwebs. Is that fair? So when we think about posting, again, it could be super generic. You could sit down and write the same comment to like 5 different people and still have it be meaningful and intentional because we're using a framework. So the framework might be acknowledging whatever's happening in the post. Isn't that cute? Whatever the thing is, right? 2, initiating the conversation around, I would like to experience that in real life. And 3, I'm going to reach out to you and connect with you further so we can make that opportunity for an in real life meetup happen. So that's the framework for your comments. Oh, and include emojis. People love emojis. It's even more fun when you do an emoji and you don't know what it means and it means something you didn't think it means. That creates a conversation too.
That's dangerous.
All right. Okay, so we've talked 10 likes, we've talked 5 comments. You guys have some tools there to be most successful. Let's talk about direct message or original post or one share. Here's a fun question. How many of you know the difference between those like 3 things, specifically like the share and original post?
We're
Well-
sharing somebody else's post to your friends.
Yes. Do you know that, like, I know several influencers that's their entire system and platform. They just share someone else's content. They write a comment about it and send it to people or put it up on their page as like, hey, have you guys seen this? Isn't this thought-provoking? Okay, as a reminder, and we'll talk more strategies towards the end of this call, as a reminder, when you're doing that though, make sure that it's something that's in alignment with your core values, make sure it's in alignment with your authenticity, make sure it's in alignment with the kind of value that your clients want. But listen, sharing something or cross-sharing it from some other place is one of the fastest ways to create original content where you are creating like essentially a virtual op-ed. Hey, did you guys read this report? And let me give you all the information about why I think that's important. And why that's critical is because your voice, like your unique perspective, is what people are going to want to engage with and ultimately will magnetize them to you. Okay, an example of this might be like a direct message. I'm going to switch to a direct message and say like something that's specific to that person. One of my favorites is birthdays. So I will often like throw onto someone's Facebook page, hey, the Facebook gods have said that it's your birthday today. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm just going to go with it. Listen, I hope that you are having the most like best exciting birthday. I'm going to call you later to find out what you did and we can get together and talk about it. Again, we're creating organic opportunities for us to get together in real life to continue that virtual connection outside of the interwebs. Does that make sense? I think we would all agree that in our industry, we work in a relational business, yes? And so the relationships are our business. So if we're thinking in that way, social media should be a way that we engage with and edutain and stay in front of our clients, but it should not be the results, right? Like that's not what we're hoping for. Right, what we're hoping for is that we'll create an opportunity for us to get together and have an in real life conversation. I keep saying IRL like that's going to matter. It doesn't. Okay. What are your ahas from our 10-5-1 and our examples of how to do that at a high level?
Well, doing it's important. That's
Yeah.
first of all, you know,
Consistency, sure.
And I think that I appreciate learning about the intentionality of the comments and asking to get together. I just never really, social media always has felt very disconnected, like it's not even, like real, but I like the idea of making it an interpersonal versus just separate. So
Yeah, it's not real, right? But it is a real opportunity for you to connect in the real world. And so for that reason, I would say, don't miss an opportunity to do that.
You said it way better than I did. Thank you.
Yeah. The other thing that I might mention is, and I think that we actually talk about this later in the presentation, but I'm going to skip to the end. And that is, are you understanding that it's possible to systematize the way you approach your 10 likes, your 5 comments, and your 1 share direct message or organic post. I love the idea of organic posts, by the way. And if you've got something in your world that has to be shared, that's specific to you, I would say get that up on social media. Okay, but I would also say that when you're thinking about getting into social media and using it like the excellent tool that it can be, like don't let "I don't know what to post" be the reason why you don't start posting. And we're going to talk about posting soon, so there'll be no excuses for not posting soon. Okay, all right. Any other ahas or questions from this section about our 10.5.1?
I like the sharing aspect.
Say that again, Gary. I didn't hear you.
The sharing aspect. Yeah. I didn't realize it was such a big chunk of it.
Yeah. Okay. So next we're going to look at, it says posting practices, which I think is hilarious, but we're going to actually talk about our 80-20 principle, right? About how we actually post. Who wants to take a stab at what our 80-20 principle actually is?
Personal versus business.
Yes, Dee, you nailed it. That's absolutely right. So as we explore this option right now, dig deeper to 80-20 principle, we're gonna be talking about the importance of why, you know, instead of inundating your social feeds with like listings and a bunch of business content, why it's so much more important that 80% of your content comes from this personal space. I've said it before in this call, and I'll say it again. Like people, when they think about spending like a ton of money on maybe the largest investment they'll ever have in their life, they don't want to do it with a social media influencer. They want to do it with a live human person that is authentic, that cares about them. So when we think about that, does it make any sense that if the only thing they ever see on social media is your business practices, that they would think that you're the right person for them?
Good point.
Okay, so as we start this next section, I'm going to ask you guys to do your next activity. We're going to look at our participation bias, and in there's a list of your 5 passions. We're going to take 4 minutes and we're going to write down 5 things that we are super passionate about, and it can be anything. However, the rule is that it must be something you're passionate about. So 5 things. Oh, I skipped ahead there. Don't cheat. If you guys don't need 4 minutes, we can use less time. That's fine. Give me a thumbs up in the chat or on camera when you're ready. Ooh, and as you guys are doing this, I'm going to make a caveat and say that real estate can't be anywhere on that list. I have also given instruction on this activity that, like, if you were independently wealthy, money was no object, you did not need to work in real estate or want to work in real estate, and you would follow a passion, what would those 5 things be? Okay. I'm looking for someone to share. I know it wasn't 4 minutes. My 4 minutes goes like in 45 seconds. I get super impatient. Who needs more time? Okay. Okay. If you can, Gloria, will you share with us one of the passions on your list, please? In fact, I want the number 1 passion. Gloria, can you hear me? No, Gloria can't hear me. Gary, how about you?
Coffee.
Coffee. Okay. Who else wants to share a passion?
I like watching sports, all kinds of sports.
Sports? No specific sport, just all sports?
Well, mainly soccer.
Soccer?
But, football, basketball, kind of thing.
Got it.
My dogs.
Catherine, dogs. Catherine, when you say dogs are your passion, what about the dogs are you passionate about?
Everything, they're my life. I don't have any kids and I really don't have any family. I've got, I just lost one of my dogs here last week. She was 15, had to have her put down, but I now have 9 dogs and 2 cats and 2 cows.
I already have some posts for you. Like my brain is going like just 90 miles a minute. Like I can't like, do you want the realtor that, do you want a realtor that can manage a farm at the same time they buy, sell and invest real estate with you? To call Catherine, you know, like
Absolutely.
she has it on lock, right? If she can handle all of her fur babies, she can definitely handle your transaction. Call today. Okay. So when we're thinking about our passions, we're going to skip to this 80% principle. And that is all of your personal interest posts. So whether it's pets or arts or cooking or whatever it is, you guys have got some good ones. So coffee, football, soccer, sports, your dogs. Okay. The reason I bring this up is because when people think about engaging with you on social media, they choose people who are like them, right? And that's the whole idea behind our posting, is that we want to magnetize people to us that are like us. Because what happens, a show of hands, those of you who've done deals, how different is a transaction when you are when you're on the same side as someone who is like you versus when you are on someone who is the opposite of you?
Very
I'll tell you
difficult.
right now, the transactions are so much easier and so much more energizing and fun when it's with someone who already resonates with all the things that you enjoy already, right? So one of the major reasons that we say post 80% of your personal posts of your passions is because then the kind of people that are attracted to those same passions will get to know you, and those are your people anyway. So that's who you really want to be marketing to, because your marketing efforts will go so much further, right? Whether it's time, money, effort, or resource, whatever you spend on your social media, if it's something you're passionate about, people who are also passionate will also respond to that content, and in a way that people who are not passionate about won't even think about. Fair? Okay, so we want to educate and engage. We want to draw those people to us. So my suggestion for you, and it's a good one, is that about half of your 80%, so 40% of the post you make should be your number one passion. So when you guys just wrote that list down of all the things that you're passionate about, numbers 1 through 5, and hopefully you put it in order of importance, the number one thing that's on that list should dominate 40% of your posting schedule on social medias. There's an easy system for success right there. Now, when you think about like, oh my gosh, what should I post? I don't know. I love my fur babies, but I'm not sure what to share. I'll tell you, here's some really good examples. Number 1, share your journey. Tell us what it's like to be you and have the kinds of animals that you have. Catherine, I'm not going to pick on you, but I'm going to use you as a great example. So what kind of animals do you have, Catherine? How did you start getting those animals? You don't have to answer. I'm
Okay.
posting a content schedule for you. How did you come into the life of those animals? What tips would you give others who are thinking about doing the same thing? How might you add value to their lives? Because they're like you. They probably also want 9 dogs and 6 cats and 4 cows. And I imagine you probably have chickens soon. When people are thinking about doing that as well, what advice could you give them to make that they can gain from your experience to make their lives better? And also my personal favorite, but the insider like POV of your life. Listen, it's all great that she's got an Instagram photos of her and her entire farm, but Catherine, what is it really like to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to feed those chickens, know the cows are not going to milk themselves, right? Offering someone an insider view of what it's like to be in your life, whether it be glamorous or unglamorous, it's still real and authentic. And at the end of the day, like I said, people want to buy houses from people, not from robots. So if you can find ways to infuse what it is that makes you unique and special, Catherine, people will resonate with that. And they will magnetize to you. And those are your people. Those are the ones you want to be marketing and prospecting to anyway. That makes sense, guys? Any questions there? All right. So next we're going to talk about the 20%, and this is your business posts. So think listings, open houses, awards, speaking events. One of the ways, and I kind of say this embarrassingly because I don't think it should work, but it really does. One of the ways that you can grow your following if you're looking to get started is with inspirational quotes. Now, I personally Don't love that it works, but I got to tell you guys, it works like gangbusters. Some ways that you can automate that for yourself are, if you guys know what Canva is, it's a design software. It costs about $119. I'm not sponsored by Canva, but I should be, as much as I talk about them. It's like $119 per year. Canva has a quote upload, and you could use technology to generate the quotes, upload the quotes. It'll create designs for you, and better yet, it'll release them on your social medias on a content schedule. So when you're thinking about building out and systematizing anything, I just gave you guys a tool, you could do it. It's not simple, but it is easy. And everyone on this call can do it, I promise, because I can do it. All right. Yes, Melissa.
Real quick. So Canva can schedule out your posts, kind of like Command.
Quick caveat. You must be a Canva Pro user, which means that you pay $18 per year or whatever it is, right? It's some ridiculously cheap expense. If you are, yes, the content schedule is actually one of the apps inside of Canva. So what you would do is, and this is like, we're going super deep and super high level, super fast. Please ask more questions. Here's what I have done. You can go onto any of the AI creators like ChatGPT. You can even do it in Canva now. They have an AI like ghostwriter. As of like, I think a month ago, they added one. You can go to ChatGPT and sell it. Write me 10 inspirational quotes about real estate and staying resilient. It'll spit out 10. Then download that and upload it to Canva and say, these are my 10 quotes. Now create art around this for me, and then post it once per week on this day on social media. Any social media accounts, the platforms that you have attached to Canva, and I think that they do, I want to say it's Twitter, Facebook, and then Instagram by extension, because your Facebook, your Meta accounts are connected.
Right.
And then I want to say, what's the other one? I want to say LinkedIn is the other one they allow you to connect. I don't know that you do inspirational quotes on LinkedIn, but like that's the one that you can connect so that you can release directly from Canva, and it's scheduled. So once you set it up, you don't touch it again.
That's really cool.
Also caveat, don't touch it again, because if you do, it starts the design template over again and it doesn't post anything in the future. So like if you have 10 posts and then you go and like, oh, I want to edit number 5 after it already started posting, it stops the rest of them that are scheduled.
I gotcha.
Now you can also do this on KW Command. So Command will also let you schedule out your social media, and that's actually as easy. You would just create all the art inside of Canva, download it as a PNG, upload it to Command, and let Command do the heavy lifting for uploading it.
And that's what we've
we'll
been
talk
doing.
about that again today. That's not the last time I will talk about AI technology and automation. I promise.
Cool. Yeah, that's what we've been doing, is downloading everything off of Canva and then going into Command. I didn't realize you could do it directly from Canva. So that's really cool. I'll have to look into
it'll
that.
actually let you split pages. So you can do both your business page, i.e. your 20%, and it'll also let you do your personal page. So it'll split.
That's really
pages,
cool.
so you can decide where stuff goes.
Okay, I'm gonna look into that.
Arguably, most of your stuff should go on your personal page, and you could share some stuff on your cross-share it to your business page, but not the other way around. That's kind of silly. Unless you're doing things like events or awards, and then you want everyone to know about it, that's smart. But I got this question a while back. It's like, well, I have both pages. What do I do? It's like, well, what you want to do is have a personal following, right? And then you want to slowly migrate some of the people that make sense to the business page, right? So your business page does hold the 20%. You could also add like all of the 80% of your personal, but again, I don't know if it's worth the double dipping there. It might be a lot more effort than it's worth in terms of your ROI. Okay. Don't forget, as part of I think I meant to mention this on our personal page, don't forget about Facebook groups. A few years ago, I was at Build How, and I was talking with a gal there who she moved from California to Tennessee. And when she was moving to Tennessee, she this Facebook group story, she was moving to Tennessee. She said, I think I'm going to join a Facebook group. And on the Facebook group, it was actually for people who are moving from California to Nashville. So she joined this group. And she was there for a couple of months, and then she realized that all the people in this Facebook group were people who were moving from California to Nashville, where she had eventually moved. And as a realtor, she thought, wouldn't it be great if I could just, find a way to connect with all these people in a real way? So she did something that I think is genius. She reached out to the owner of the group, right, the admin, and said, I'd like to buy the group. So she purchased the Facebook group from this person, the admin rights for this Facebook group, and then she kicked out all the other realtors, and she became the only realtor in this massive Facebook group of like tens of thousands of people who were considering moving to Nashville and were part of this group, and she became the realtor for that group. Now, I'm not saying you would necessarily go buy a Facebook group. I'm not advising that, but I am saying don't forget about the power of Facebook groups and creating interest groups around things that you're passionate about and that you comment and add value to all the time can be a very powerful way to magnetize the kinds of people that are going to be your people anyway, so that you can begin and continue sustainably connecting with, building, and growing your business. Make sense? All right. So for those of you mathematicians on the call, we're going to talk about the next 10%, which is 110%. And I actually do love talking about the extra 10% because my business and also me as a personality, I love the opportunity to go above and beyond. And so community service posting and community service additions to your social media platforms are a great way to stand apart from kind of like the average agent or the average bear, as it were, for content posting. When you think about the kinds of people that are going to be engaging with and growing a community, are those people who typically are involved in community happenings? Yeah, they are. So, I think back a couple of years about how we did this, right? How do you do community service posts? It could be anything. Like you could develop a foundation. You could develop a volunteer schedule. There a gentleman on this call a couple of months ago mentioned that he volunteers at like an animal shelter, and he created a client event around inviting people to come to the animal shelter who already like volunteering at animal shelters at a certain date and a certain time to be part of this group with him. And now he has built a following around that. So there's an idea for you. A couple of years ago, I should say, I think my favorite way to help is when we're in crisis, and partially because I'm good in crisis. That's like a small, tiny superpower that I have, right? Would you guys say that you've experienced any crises in the last few years? Maybe like a global pandemic. If you live in Oregon, then also like a massive wildfires, public health concerns. Fair. Now, how are you all showing up in that crisis for your community, right? And then how are we letting people know that we're showing up in crisis for our communities? So a couple years back when we had those forest fires, my team and I did something that I think was really interesting. During that time, when people were displaced from their homes and like massive parts of Oregon were just burning to the ground, right? Just scorched earth style. Everything that we were posting on social media was essentially a resource, like how to find resources that people needed. So like if you live in this area, like, hey, you're on Divert, here's where you go, here's who you call, and if you need help, here's your resource. And so all of our, I would say marketing, or all of our social media, if you will, pieces were all about how people who were in need in our communities could find access to resource. And we were a resource too. Often our posts were something like, hey, if you can't find the resource that you need on one of our many posts or by going to our website, we actually developed an entire web page for resources for wildfire relief. If you can't find what you need, please call us, because we're not going to be talking real estate with you. We're going to be talking how we get you to safety and how we connect you to the right resource for you and for your family, right? It doesn't matter much to have conversations about real estate when your house was just demolished. This brings me to a point around, as we think about community service and the posts that we make there, about how we show up as humans first, how we show up for our communities as people before we show up as experts in real estate. Okay, let's talk ahas. Questions? It's a quiet group today. No questions, no ahas?
Well, I really like just your approach to this, just this like super authentic humanity. I just think that people just build up this social media thing that's just so fake, and what you're doing is just the absolute opposite, and I just really appreciate that.
Well, here's what I'll tell you about the opposite. It's a lot harder to do because it takes longer. But it lasts longer too. And the relationships that you develop are much deeper and much more meaningful. And when I think about how I want to invest, my money in a property or in probably the most expensive investment I'll ever own, I certainly don't want to do that with someone who is more concerned about the lighting at their beach photo shoot than whether or not I got the best deal.
Yeah.
So when we're thinking about like our posting strategies we're going to talk about next, Is like, how do we do that? How do we show up authentically? I think I make the case here in the beginning of this presentation around like, I hope that you know that if you show up as yourself, that's actually the highest and best use. Because while it's tempting to want to change yourself into someone who would be, really popular on social media, the problem with that is that keeping that persona up for the rest of your time in your career and your life would actually, I'm going to argue, would take more time and more ROI than just slowly building up your following and your database from an authentic sense of like who you are, right? There's people in your world who know you and like you. Is that fair? That's true, right? If that's also true, then that means there's more people out there who know you and want to get to know you and like you as well. So as long as you show up as who you are, you'll magnetize the right people to you. All right. So we've looked at 10.5.1, we've looked at some posting practice, and next we're going to talk about social media strategies. So they've got some strategies here for you, and we'll talk about all of them. So one is to connect with people that you have met in one way, shape, or form. I would venture, just like your database is same instructions, like same suggestions. Everybody who is in your database should be following you on social media, whatever platform you use most predominantly. So as an example, I heard a lot of people say they use Facebook. I think it makes a lot of sense for you to ensure that everybody in your database has an opportunity to connect with you on Facebook. If they don't, I think you're missing an opportunity, and they're going to be missing value, because we know that as we build out our social media platforms, we build out our content scheduling, we're going to be adding really high value things every single day. And if our people aren't engaged there or aren't following, they're not seeing it. They're not getting it, right? So as we put on our mindset cap here around like, hey, how should we approach that? Remember that the people that you provide service and value to, they need you. And the way that they're going to get access to you is by following the content that you create that's high value. That's how you're going to help them. Okay. Another idea here is to post about your neighborhood, which I love because I love my neighborhood. But it also helps you show up as an expert, right? So as you post things about the insights about a particular neighborhood or the insights about a particular like grouping of areas, grouping of neighborhoods, if you will, it can help again establish you with some social proof around like, hey, I do this at a high level. If you want an expert, like you need to call me. Use images. All right. This means like, it's okay to post quotes every now and again. I think that's totally fine. But a picture of your face, did you guys know this? Like data shows that pictures of your face or pictures of you or pictures in general actually build liking and trust 7 times faster. I'll say it again. It builds trust 7 times faster than something that has no image or where the image isn't personal or isn't of you. The other thing I'll mention is as you're thinking about posting things, remember that like just operationally think about how people engage with media. How do they do it? Do they do it? I'll try to make this an example. Do they do it like this? Or do they do it like this? When people are scrolling through their feed, how are they scrolling, right?
Like
down.
that.
So by extension and just by like basic practice, I know that it seems crazy to have to say this to people who use social media, but I'm going to tell you because there's many people who do it. Create your content like this, not like this. We get tempted sometimes as realtors to want to get the landscape because it's a gorgeous house or it's a gorgeous scenic view. That's all great. But the problem is that when you turn your phone this way to review that content, there's white bars on the side. The screen's so small, you can't even see it, right? So resist the urge to record anything in landscape and record everything vertically, portrait mode, whatever you want to call it. Okay, there's a great tip. Congratulating new homeowners, posting listings, and engagement. So let's talk about congratulating new homeowners. How many are doing that on a regular basis? No.
Well, I
Okay,
don't
you
have
guys should be doing that every time. Every time you close a listing, you should be congratulating a new homeowners. You can congratulate them several times throughout the deal as well. Which reminds me, I begun thinking about the fact that we've got to change our mindset around saying deal and not transaction, right? Because we're people and we're helping people to connect the dots, right? Not just working in a transactional space. Small change, big impact. Okay, so when we think about congratulating people, you've got several opportunities throughout a deal. The first time that you would go into contract or that you're coming soon, there's an opportunity. Guys, I can post on social media and say, hey, y'all don't want to miss this. We've got a new listing coming up in such and such area. These sellers are motivated and this is going to be an on fire listing. Stay tuned. That's opportunity number 1. Opportunity number 2, this house just hit the market. Make sure you get in to see it. It's going to go fast. Creates emergency, right? Number 3, third chance. Would you believe it? Multiple offers and under contract in just 1 day. Guys, we are pending on this house. If you do not want to get slept on in your neighborhood and want to sell fast, call us today. Number 4. This house was outstanding and it sold. Here's the stats on why it worked. Would you like to have similar results? Reach out to us today. Number 5. We are so grateful for our sellers and for the new homeowners at this property that we just sold. Don't miss a chance to meet your neighbors, your new neighbors. Number 6. When those sellers find a new place, can you believe, guys, that we helped them sell their house and find a new one in just 30 days? Would you like to experience this kind of service and care as well? Call us today so we can give you that. So I took one listing and I made it 6 original posts. And that's not even all you could do. You could continue that like later down the road. In fact, I would say the most powerful one in my world is like the 8th one. And the 8th one is our review, where we say, guys, I don't know if you remember our sellers who sold in over 30 days, just like 15 days ago, right? Because we've been posting consistently. But they said some really kind words about us on Google and on Facebook. We think their experience is pretty consistent with who we are as people. Would you like to experience it too? Head over to our YouTube channel to see more about all the reviews that are happening in our world. We can't wait to help you and your family. So do you see how like one transaction could become this massive opportunity for multiple posts? Does that make sense? As we start thinking about every time that we want to congratulate, every time that we want to offer someone thanks for what they're doing in our world, that it's an opportunity for us to post organically. Speaking of, I think referrals, I'm going to jump to the next slide here. Where are you all getting your, not referrals, but yes, reviews. I meant reviews. Who is getting reviews consistently and where are they visible?
Zillow.
Okay, that's a good one. Anybody else?
Google or Facebook.
Yeah. Melissa, you took my class before. Maybe not. I will tell you, it's funny that Melissa mentions Google, and I don't understand why more agents don't use it. Google does not require you to have closed any transactions. You can just go to your website on Google and put a 5-star review up if they know you. They need a Google account and they need to know you. That's it. Unlike Zillow or Realtor.com, or really any of the other like realtor websites where they require you to have like closed a deal in order for you to send a link for review, you don't have to do that. You can just go to your Google website. They can click on the button, review now, give you 5 stars, and move on with your life. I would recommend that as you're thinking about putting those reviews online, that you create a really robust system around how you ask for them, how often you ask for them, and how you train your people to send you reviews. The reason is because I think most people would want to offer you an amazing review, but they don't know where to start. And that obstacle prevents some of them from even doing it. So when you say something like, hey, Melissa, I'm so excited to work with you. And I start early and often. Melissa, I'm so excited to work with you. I'm really glad that we're here for this listing appointment. As part of our whole package, I just want to let you know in advance that we are looking forward to providing you with 5-star service. And when we make good on that promise to provide you 5-star service, we're going to ask that you throw up a review, a 5-star review on Google. Now, we're going to ask again later, so you don't have to worry about it right now. And we'll also give you some things to help you think about what's most important about your experience as we go along, and that will help too. And then as we get closer to the signing tip, hey, Melissa, we don't have a lot to do right now. We're just waiting to close. Now might be an excellent time for us to talk about putting up a 5-star review on our Google page. As you're thinking about what you might post, might I make a recommendation like that we were able to help you in XYZ form? And honestly, we're just so honored to do that. Okay, so that's reviews. That's an idea for reviews. Is that fair? You guys got that? I'll move on. Now on this slide where they're saying highlight your business, I sort of jumped to like the last one, and I apologize. I just get really excited about client testimonials because I think it's so important and imperative to your business. Number one, they're saying like, hey, let's think about hyper local information. So when you guys think about hyper local information, what does that mean to you?
Support a local restaurant or something like that.
Oh yeah. Insights about what it's like to live in this neighborhood, but all kinds of things like property taxes, specialty land zoning, things that are happening in the area in terms of events, whatever makes that particular area stand apart. Don't forget that, like, when you as an expert show up at any of these conversations, I highly recommend that you back it with data. So when you think about, like, how would you make your customers and your clients the most aware of the most up-to-date data? You guys are all part of XBN, so I already know the answer. You know that we have a tool, right? The TMO, that is an XBN exclusive tool that gives you data about every area in Oregon and what has been happening week over week in each of those markets. Do you guys know this? Who uses the TMO?
Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, TMO stands for a total market overview. And what it is it's a data set for each price point from like $0 all the way up to, like, I think it's like 5 million plus. And in each one of those price points, it tells you how many homes are on market in each RMLS area. So it's not just, it's actually across the entire state, but MLS area. So it will tell you what has happened in each price point week over week. How many houses came to market, how many went pending, the average days on market, the highest sale price, the average sales price, the median sales price, and the conversion rate from listing to sale. Meaning, like, when a house goes on the market at 400,000 but sells at 350, then it's selling at 99.8% of the listing price. It'll tell you that as well. This is a very easy way that once you've mastered how to interpret that information, it's a very easy way for you to show up for your clients as the expert. In your local MLSs, almost all of them have a data release of some kind that'll tell you, like, what happened in the market, how many houses are on the market, how many went pending. These are all great ways for you to organically post new information to your pages, plural, that will highlight you as a hyper-local expert with the information that they need to make the best decisions for them and their family. Okay? Questions?
And is this in Command that we find this?
Actually, the TMO is released to you from your market center on Mondays.
Oh, okay.
It's an email.
Okay, got it. Yes,
Mhm.
okay.
And then your MLS releases it once a month. They release monthly data. So theirs is, it's a little bit sluggish, but they release basically everything that's happened across the MLS as an aggregate. A lot of them, like RMLS, has their own graphics. So you can just take the graphic and post it to your page. And then, as we mentioned before, that's actually a share. It's not an original post. So you would share the information from MLS, and then you'd offer your opinion and information and expertise about why that's important to your future clients and customers. Okay, so number 2 on our list is utilizing tech developments. I about a month ago, I actually wrote like a 4-part series on AI. I am just so excited about this technology as an emerging technology to help agents and also consumers get great information and make the best decisions for them. But in addition to AI, I would say, like, how many of you guys are using the KW app? Because that technology is pretty amazing. In the last year or so, I would say the KW consumer app specifically has gotten a massive facelift. And I actually talk about this on Wednesdays every week because I lead our new agent technology orientation. And the KW consumer app actually gives you an opportunity to connect with your clients around, like, neighborhood specific data, insights, homes for sale. You can communicate directly through the app. There's guided tours about what a transaction is like for them if they want to follow along. There's a ton more, but I think my favorite thing about the KW app is it's branded to you as an agent, meaning that unlike the apps that you will that are associated with websites that run with Zillow and Tedfin, the only agent information that your clients will ever see is yours. So when I say it's your app, I mean it's truly your app. So how many of you guys are using the KW app? Oh, good. So you all know that you can also curate, like, collections of homes and also collections of features for clients and send it to them so that they can be engaging with that content all the time. Okay, who else has some AI, or not AI, excuse me, but tech development that they're utilizing? How many of you are scheduling content? How many of you are using auto plans?
Smart plans.
Mm-hmm. I said I made a brevity slip. I'm sorry. Smart plans. Yes. If you're a brevity user, they call them auto plans. How's that going, by the way, Gary? Your smart plans. How's that working for you?
Good. Nick West, he puts a class on too, and all the stuff that I don't understand, he'll he usually works that out. So it's going well though. I've had a number of smart plans. You could schedule them out for however far and then just add people to them.
Yeah, I on our network, I teach like a 2-hour class on smart plans, and it is really, really powerful with lots and lots of potential. But I'm glad to hear you using them, because that's a great way to flex tech developments. Okay, so let's look at our next strategy, and I'm going to go relatively quickly because I want to leave plenty of time for questions kind of at the end here. But don't post and ghost. Who knows what this means? It's kind of just what it sounds like. If you put something on online on one of your social platforms, please don't post it and leave it alone, right? Like, you worked hard to create this content. You worked hard to schedule it. You worked hard to make sure that it was engaging with your clientele. Don't just put it up and leave it alone. A good piece of content can last you like several months, even like a quarter, right? Where we can just keep referring to this content using over and over again. Let me give you an example. If you were to go onto YouTube and record like a 15-second video of a property that you were at, or really just any kind of fun activity that you're doing, you could splice that into smaller videos that you could use in Facebook Reels and also Instagram stories, which would allow you then to use the same content over and over again. But if you just post it somewhere and forget it's there, right, like, you're not getting the full value. We talked about commenting, about liking, and also about sharing. Like, you should be doing all of those things with the original content that you post as well. So when people leave comments on that post, you should come back to it and comment back to them. I think if someone comments more than once or twice on posts that you have in your feed, you should probably be DMing them and saying thank you for doing that. And while I've got you on the line, let's have a conversation about we can have coffee next, because I'm sure we have things to talk about. Make sense? Okay, so the other thing that they want me to make sure that I tell you is that in addition to not ghosting posting, is make sure that you're setting a schedule and you're time blocking this activity. So as you're thinking about getting your content up and out there, not only should you not just post it and leave it alone, but don't forget to time block space inside of your week and inside of your day that you can both post and you can respond. Because we should be doing what with our social media every day? Somebody say 10-5-1.
10-5-1.
10-5-1. Yes, thank you, Catherine. 10-5-1, you win. Yes, that's it. 10-5-1. We should absolutely be doing that every single day. And so the other thing I wanted to mention that's not on here is, as we start creating content that we're not going to post and ghost on, right, is to remember that as we post things out, to use A/B testing and for your ads, and also multiple parallel posting strategies. And here's what I mean by that. Sometimes you'll run a post where let's just say you're going to choose a different color, where one post is red in the background and one is blue. And what you're doing is looking to see how many people engage with that particular thing. We're going to use our data, the data informatics that come along with all the posting platforms to tell us, hey, you know what? More people looked at the red one than the blue one. So that's a way for us to know that, like, hey, the red background is more popular than the blue background. So moving forward, whenever we post something that has a background that's a color, what should we do? D. We should post the red one. That's right. Because it makes the most sense, right? And the more often that we A/B test the kinds of posts, not just content, but also the way that it looks, the better we're going to get at narrowing down the field of engaging with and connecting with the clients who most love our content. And listen, like I said before, those are your people. Market and advertise to them in a TCPA compliant way. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is adding value. We've talked a lot about this, I think, already, but I would like to hear some thoughts around how might we engage with certain communities? How might we engage with the communities that we work in and serve? And what are some examples of how we can create an online community that's unique to you and the perspective that you bring that is highly valuable? Let's throw some thoughts out.
Well, it feels like we should be able to, like, what we care about, if we're posting about it and other people care about it, that's going to just create a unique and organic relationship, right? So, like you said, community service type of things.
I don't think I could have said it any better. So for those who didn't hear Dee, because I was semi-interrupting her, I apologize. Dee said, it should be things that we care about, and the communities that also care about those same things? Yes, exactly. So when we're thinking about creating our online community, and here's where we can talk about our authenticity and our uniquely singular perspective that is unique to us, right? This is how we maintain our authenticity, because we're creating groups of people online who also like the same things, which means that we get to continue operating in a space where we are ourselves, and where we engage with the community and we add high value. So let's think about some ways that we can add value. I've given you guys some examples already. What are some other examples in addition to like providing resource or telling you where you can find, you know, your school housing codes or things like that? What else could be? What else could be?
Hosting community events.
Yes, posting events. What else?
Concert calendar,
Say that again. I just heard calendar.
a concert calendar.
Concert calendar, sure. What are other ideas?
Maybe volunteer opportunities.
Yeah. So when we're thinking about adding unique value and creating online communities, I think you guys kind of, you've nailed it on the head here. When you think about the posting, the things you're going to post, what you all said was very specific to a group of people who would get behind that idea and be like, yeah, I'm gonna get on that. I'm gonna be part of that, right? Concert calendar, good example. It sounds like it's just a calendar, right? But it's not. It's going to be all the people who go to concerts. That's your people. So how might we engage those people who are going to be at the concert? What is a great way to turn that into a win for you in your business? Any ideas?
Gather their contact information so you can directly send them a concert calendar,
Yep.
calendar reminders.
Yep. What if, Gary, you also invited them to a concert as a client event?
Whoa.
And it doesn't have to be tricky. It doesn't have to be, it can be really simple. Like, hey, I will be, Gary, what's a concert you're going to go to soon? Just give me an example.
Whoops. Thundercat.
Thundercat. So I might post maybe like a photo of my hand with the Thundercat tickets in them. And I might say, hey folks, for those of you concert goers and Thundercat fans, I will be there. We are hosting our first concert goer event. Find me at the front gates at a certain time and get your GS swag as you get headed in. Now, you don't have to have swag. It's just an idea, right? Like, but finding a way to, you created an event, a client event for my clients exclusively, and those who are going to be attending the Thundercat concert. You didn't buy anything necessarily. You didn't offer to give them anything necessarily. What you did is you said, I'm going to be there. Let's create a community. We'll all do it together. It'll be fun. And these are people who are going to go there anyway. Even better is if you find a way to stand out while you're there, like as a group of people. Groups of people generally elicit the attention of other groups of people. And you know something that's interesting? You all have a couple of things in common. One, you're all human. Two, you're all at a Thundercat concert, right? And three, you're all sharing an experience together that then you can post about later. Okay. So I want to be sure that we're getting ready to go our first activity to post on social media. And I want to give you guys some time to do this. We're going to brainstorm and collaborate a post that you're all going to post today. Are you ready? Okay, Dee, I see you chuckled there, and you're off of mute. So I'm gonna volunteer you.
Sure.
As our spokesperson. So Dee is going to post social media today. What should we do, folks? What would be great for Dee to post today? Dee, you're going to help us because we're getting into a tiny roadblock here. But Dee, what's the number one thing on your passion list?
I'm gonna post about the vegetables that I harvested out of my garden today.
Okay. What's important about the vegetables that you harvested out of your garden?
It's a whole food. I like to cook with whole food. Quality food sourcing is important to me.
Why is it important to you? I'm going to go a little bit deeper. Go ahead. Why is it important?
Sure. It's important to me because I think that organic food is healthier for our bodies. And I'm very much opposed to GMO and pesticides in human consumption. So
Okay. Okay, so I think that like if you guys were listening there to Dee, what she was telling you is that she's made it a tiny mission, right, in her life to find a way to eat foods that will nourish her body that don't contain pesticides or GMOs, because it's incredibly important that we fuel our bodies with the right stuff so that we can show up as our best selves. So as we're thinking about posting for Dee, what would be a fun image that all of you would like to see about Dee's vegetables?
A big bright red tomato.
Oh, do you have tomatoes, Dee?
yeah, but they're tiny, but that's good. They're delicious.
Okay, we're getting somewhere, folks. So I heard tomatoes and I heard tiny but delicious, right? So I think I would probably advise that Dee post something about tomatoes that says something like, great things come in small packages. These tiny organic tomatoes might not be the largest, but they sure pack a punch when it comes to flavor. And would you believe they're also organic? Are you interested in learning how to make your garden do this too? Comment below.
Awesome post.
Yeah. Dee, how long would that take you to post, do you think?
Not more than 5 minutes.
Fantastic. So
Yeah.
why don't you put your handle for your Facebook in the chat and we will all follow you and we will look for that post today.
All right.
I'm so excited. Okay, who wants to go next? We're gonna do one more. Who's gonna post today? Melissa, I know you post pretty frequently. What are you posting today?
We've got a setup pretty much every day where we do like a Monday motivation,
Yes.
Tuesday trends. So we do like a market setup for like the Lane County area. Wednesdays we have Wednesday Wisdom, so it kind of goes over mortgage stuff or different real estate, phrases.
What's Thursday?
Thursday's kind of up in the air, and then we do
Okay.
Friday funnies. So we do something every day of the week as far
Okay.
as on the business page.
I love that she posts so often because now we get to ask cool questions. So of all 5 days that you post, which day gets the most traction?
I would say probably Mondays and Fridays.
Okay. Do you have any idea why that is?
Because I think a lot of people are not quite as interested in, the stats. People don't want to necessarily read the stats. Not everybody wants to. And so it's tricky on, we want to share the information, but how do we do it?
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, when you tell me that your Motivation Mondays and your Fun Fridays you A/B tested basically is what you did, because you had all these posts that occurred during the week, and these are the things that people resonate with most.
Right.
Now, I'm going to back up a second and make sure I don't make a fool of myself on a recording and ask which ones get the most comments.
Probably the Friday funnies.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That'll be good. Let me ask another follow-up question, and this is it's meant in the right way. I'm trying to help. When you post throughout the week, I'm thinking specifically of your data posts, specifically of the RMLS numbers you post. When you post it, do you post a new one every week?
Yes.
When do you refer back to the previous weeks? Is it the following week? Or do you refer?
So what I do is I pull up stats from Cascade Title that they provide,
Okay.
and it goes over the last week's information up until whatever day you pull it. So tomorrow is going to go out, and it's as of today, here's where our stats are, our median list prices, the days on market, that kind of thing.
Okay, so we haven't talked about this yet, and I don't know where we talk about it in this presentation, so we're gonna jump right in. Melissa does something that I think that's amazing, and she posts really, really consistently, but she's also told us some important information about her posting schedule and what her clientele is saying to her. They are
Mhm.
saying to her, like, Melissa, it's great that you post this stuff, but like, it's not for everyone. So here's a suggestion. What I would recommend for you is to focus on the quality of your posting and
Mhm.
less on the quantity of your posting. And what you'll find is, number one, like, it's actually less effort with greater return, right? And number two, your clients will respond more to it. So as a suggestion, I may not send, and Melissa, by the way, we used to do this in my business. We used to do
Mhm.
exactly what you're talking about in my business. And we made it
Gotcha.
change about 3 years ago. So we've been there and it was exciting and it worked for a little while. And then we understood we had to make a change. And I want to make your life better and easier at the same time. What I might suggest is, instead of posting every week on MLS or the data that you get from Cascade Title,
Mhm.
if you know that it's going to be week over week, you actually need to post it twice a month. Because you're going to get the first week in the second week when you post that, and you're going to get the third week and the fourth week when you post that, because they're going to see week over week. So you can reduce the number of posts on that activity and that posting by twice per month. And I actually think you'll see an increase in the number of views. In the weeks that you don't post anything, you then can make it a Friday funny feel. I think you said Wednesdays were the day you post. Wednesday.
Wednesday wisdom.
Okay, so on Wednesdays, you could post something that's like kind of funny, right? But that tells them to stay tuned for next week's MLS data.
Mm.
So you're referring to what you're gonna do, right? And it's a really simple post. You can even take wacky photos and make it really fun, whatever you want. But my point there just being, you limit the number of posts. So what you're doing is making it actually more exclusive, because you don't post it as often. So they need to pay attention when it does happen. The other thing I'll mention is that I will not speak for your business, but I will speak for ours. When we used to do the weekly posting schedule where it was posted every single day, we were very guilty of ghosting and posting, because we were posting so often that we had zero time to do anything else. It is extremely difficult, right? When it's like, when you're a small business or even a solo agent. Now, we had admin, so it wasn't like we were alone. But my point there is, very difficult to maintain a cadence of posting every single day and having enough time to go backwards and check the comments and respond to people, when that, like, who knows where the fortune is? Has anyone heard this quote? Where's the fortune, Melissa?
I haven't heard
It's
that
in
one.
the
Yeah.
follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up. It's not in the
Gotcha.
initial lead generation. It's your ability to follow up with that person over and over and over again. The average cold lead takes 9 contacts to turn them into a converted client. So when you think about your social media and how much content you're putting out there, I think about each post as being a potential client. You would need to engage with that content for like 8 more times before you could consider them a client or converted. So start treating your content like the value that it is. And then think about maybe slowing down to speed up, which sounds crazy, but less content to create more. So rather than create content every single day that's new, create one piece of content per month that is really, really good, something that's really, really, really funny on Friday, something that is incredibly inspirational on Monday, something that is just optimized for your clientele's Wisdom Wednesday, and post it once and then refer back to it for the rest of the month.
Okay.
Because number one, it limits the amount of like pressure you have to create like new stuff all the time, right? And
Yeah.
number two, it offers you an opportunity to, instead of being on a cadence of like, I've got to create all my own content, you're freeing yourself up to share great things that other people have to bring to the table, right? Which lets other influencers, other experts do some heavy lifting for you. And it allows people into the personal part of your business, which is your opinion and perspective, right? When you post an organic post, we assume that it's your own personal value. But when you
Right.
share something and tell us why it's valuable, now you're showing up for us as someone who is really an expert in our industry, because they're pulling info from all over the place, not just whatever they decide to post on Friday. That makes
Okay.
sense?
Yeah.
Too much? Valuable? Not valuable?
No, good,
Okay.
good. Gives me a lot to think about. So my brain is swimming.
I'm hoping that what you like TLDR, like too long didn't read, but like summarize that what you got is you can post less often and get more results.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we've
speaking
definitely
of-
seen over the last, because we've been doing it pretty consistently for a year and a half, and it was great. And then all of a sudden it just kind of started tapering down and falling away because
That was
people aren't
your
as interested.
cue. The tapering down, I love that you're following it, by the way. This makes me so excited for you. You're following it well enough to know when it started tapering down. When it started tapering down, it wasn't your content, it was the cadence. Because you can change either of those two things, the content or the cadence. Now, if you change the cadence and nothing changes and you still plummet, then it's like, oh, it's the content, right? But typically, if there was an uptick in the people who were viewing your content, it wasn't that the content was invaluable. It was that you were posting it too frequently.
Gotcha. Good deal.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let's talk about when we're thinking about posting, we now know what we're supposed to do. Like, what are some take-home messages for posting on social media? Number one is be authentic. I think we've talked about that maybe to death today. But I want to be sure that you all understand that who you are, your experience, both in life and as business, and what you bring to the table is incredibly valuable, because there's no one else who's better at being you than you. The second thing on that list is don't be a jack of all trades. Listen, I think we often get stuck in this idea that we have to be everything to everybody. We don't. And actually, it's not in our best interest. I am really, really good at certain things that only like a handful of other people are good at or even interested in. And it's okay, because when I meet those handful of people, we get to have an opportunity to engage with each other in a way that's deep and meaningful, and that we couldn't do if we decided we were going to be other people. Is that fair? Number three, embracing video. We already talked about how important YouTube is. The idea that you might not be creating any YouTube content is kind of like, ooh, there's a place we can start. And I think that if you guys want to talk about YouTube content, we have some time at the end. Like, you can ask that question again, or I'll bring it up if no one wants to talk, because there's some really cool ideas for that as well. Number four is using analytics to optimize your posts. Like we talked about A/B posting. You guys are aware that every platform that you will use has a component that will allow you to measure or look at data behind how well your post is doing. Canva will do it for you. Command will do it for you. And it will tell you how your posts are hitting or how your ad sets are running in any particular platform. And it can help you make decisions about which you run. So as an example, like before I ran listing ads, I used to run A/B testing on listing to find out which ones worked better, what content was more important to people. And now that's the only ad I run. So it costs you a little bit of time, effort, resource, and maybe, dare I say, money to understand what that's going to be. But once you understand it, you can pour a lot more money in it and get the better return. Number five, ask for help. I think the fact that you guys are on this call to begin with tells me that you reached out for help in the right area. Just know that we have an entire marketing department as part of XPN that's available to you should you like have questions or want to consult. I myself am also someone who will make myself available to you should you need some additional assistance in social media. You guys already have my email, so you can email me and you can schedule a time on my calendar that makes sense for you. I meet with people for 15 to 30 minute consultations all the time to talk more about social media and how they can make that a big win in their business. Okay. We talked about a lot today. So to recap, we talked about our 10-5-1 system. So our 10 likes, 5 comments, and our 1 DM and or original post and or share. We talked about the 80-20% principle of ensuring that the majority of the content that you post on your social media platforms come from a personal space, because in fact, people want to get to know you in a real way, and they want to have a relationship with the person who helps them invest in the largest investment they may have in their lifetime. Your 20% is going to be like your business post. You know, one thing I didn't mention about business posts that I will mention now, just as an idea, is how you post like awards that you receive or social proof or recognition. My recommendation on that is always to do what I like to call a humble brag. So if we were going to post something about an award or an achievement that we won, I think it's important to tie it back to people, tie it back to the clients that helped you get there, and make sure that you thank them. So my post on receiving like a top 1% agent in Portland Metro might be something like a picture of maybe the award, a picture of the certificate, and then it might say, my team and I, we are so unbelievably honored. We cannot believe that we have received this reward. We want to make sure that we say thank you to all of our clients and all of those community members that we have helped not only grow our business, but also assisted them in this journey of home ownership. We can't wait to continue doing it with you, with your friends, and with your loved ones. Call today to connect with us around how we and our culture of care are helping people on their journey to more. That work? Okay. We also talked about our strategies of remembering not to ghost and post. to highlighting your business, like what's successful, what social proof you have, using client testimonials as an example of that, to adding value, making sure that your content is of very, very high value, and remembering that it's okay for us to post less often as long as the value is super duper high, because we can always add additional posts that refer to those high value content. Our social media strategies, and then we also looked at more strategies around authenticity, around embracing video. I think, yes, what are your ahas after our time together today?
Well, I think for me, it's really just about what a powerful opportunity social media is. You know, I really
great.
didn't think about that too much because I don't engage all that much,
Mhm.
but I definitely think that it seems like a low entry point cost to create some buzz around what I'm doing.
Yep. I agree. Couldn't have said it better myself. What other ahas do you guys have? And then just as an aside, I want to make sure you're getting high value. Was this valuable today? Did you guys get value?
Oh,
And if so,
Absolutely.
what was the most valuable thing for you personally, if you'll share?
Just how important the social media is and the
Mhm.
different avenues that I hadn't even thought of before.
Did you guys also hear that it's all also accessible? Like it's not just like this big ethereal thing that no one, you know, that you have to be like an expert to do. You don't. You can start today with a post about tomatoes. Dee, I'm looking at you.
I'm doing it. I already wrote my script. I'm gonna
Love
do
it.
it.
Anybody
Hey,
else?
but I do have a question.
Yeah, we can. I
Yeah.
think that's the next slide. I don't know. They have all these slides for me, and I think I get to skip. It's this one. Yeah, your next step is session 9. I'm supposed to talk about that, but
Okay.
I almost always forget. So let's jump into questions. We've got. Oh my gosh, we've got 30 whole minutes. Would you guys believe that? All right, I'm ready. Let's do it. What are your questions, Dee?
My question is if we have not been a consistent poster
Mhm.
or anything like that, should we just keep the current account that we have and just start fresh like today with the new strategy that we're going to come up with for posting? And I mean, does it need to be clean, like, or do we just keep our
Oh,
old
good
stuff?
question. Well, I'm gonna pose another question because I like to stay curious, and that is, do you think that the people who would be on your page when they look at the page itself, do you think they're gonna notice if your page isn't, I mean, you like clean?
Oh, it's it's pictures of, you know, like my garden and my paint, my art and things like that. My it's all good. It's just not, I mean, it's going to definitely look shifted, right? It's going to
Yeah.
change. It's going to
Yep.
be more engaged.
Yep.
And
Yep. I think that's all great. I would actually say that I'll use me as an example because I don't want it to be, I didn't want to take that personally because sometimes social media feel personal. My life is messy. So my social media is messy too. Like it's not perfect, right? Like you can go back a couple of years and you can see content that was like, what was he thinking? And what was he wearing? Sweet baby Jesus, what is happening in this post, right? But what I will tell you is that's true of every person who got good at social media. One of my favorite people, Nick Baldwin, who is recently came back to KW. He used to be a regional tech trainer for, I think it's Northeast region. And I used to be a tech ambassador. So like we interacted on a few occasions. Nick is one of the smartest people that I know when it comes to social media and using like KW technologies to maximize his social media. And some of the stuff that he posted a couple of years ago, I mean, I was like, Nick, you might think about taking that down. The reason I say that to you all is because like he is a master at what he does. And yet, like you would find in his social media that while it's curated and while it's certainly well produced, it wasn't always that way. And this will also be true of your YouTube as well. Melissa, you look like you just found out some crazy news. Please share. You got to unmute.
Nothing important, sorry.
Oh, okay.
No, my daughter's across the country at her aunt's place, and she just sent us a picture of a brand new loaf of bread that she made. So proud mom moment.
So that's a social media post if I've ever heard one. Would you like to see your property appreciate like this loaf of bread my daughter just made? Call today for the info. Okay, what other questions do we have? We had a couple questions at the top, so I'm gonna go back to those since no one wants to talk. What kind of specific content should we be creating? And I think we talked a little bit about that in strategy. Melissa, I think that was your question. Did you get some of that answered, or could we go deeper there?
I think I've gotten it pretty well answered.
Okay.
Yeah, just trying to get creative with, especially with, I mean, we post quite a bit with personal stuff, but it's trying to get creative with the real estate side of things, the business side of things, especially when we're slow. So
I would say when you're slow, resist the urge to post more, like an inundate more, and instead build out. Don't build more, build further. So when you're thinking about like, okay, are people still going to want to know about your Friday funnies a year from now? Probably. Then build out all those Friday funnies for the next year and get them scheduled, right? And be done with that, and not like turn that off and not worry about that. Are they going to want to see inspirational quotes on your Mindset Monday? Or is that Mindset Monday? Mindfulness Monday? Whatever you call it.
yeah, Monday motivation, yeah.
A motivation Monday, yes, whatever you call it. So do you think they're going to want to do that too?
Yeah.
Okay, then just build that out for the next year and just leave it alone. Stop touching it. Right.
Okay.
So then your focus becomes all of your static or non-dynamic content is preloaded. And then your strategy for social media becomes how do we dynamically engage with this stuff? So like we know there's going to be a Motivation Monday on Monday, right? So when we see it, maybe we'll comment like, oh my gosh, this is so true in my life. How about you? Like prayer hands, raise the roof, whatever. I don't speak emoji, but recently I learned that like I might be a super old man because I don't use them often enough. And so like I've been working on that. So
I feel you.
okay. The other thing that I heard was someone asked a question about, and I think this was Yuji, asked about the personal versus business pages. And here's what I'll tell you. You need a business page to run ads. And I think that if the 20% that you're going to be posting in and around, well, wherever you're going to be posting that, like I would recommend that that's where your business post would land, is on there. And the only things that I would recommend necessarily sharing onto your personal page or kind of like vice versa might be client testimonials, so social proof that you're great at your job. And also like events or invitations to things, right? The cool thing about invitations is it can be a great opportunity to get people from from your personal page to your business page so that they're following both. But I mean, we make an effort twice a year to say, like, if you're not following, like, click here to start following, because we have clients even that have known us for years that our Facebook pages have gotten several facelifts, and we didn't realize that they weren't following us. And so we ask frequently to follow.
Okay. Can I just get clear? I just want to make sure I'm clear in my mind. So we should have our personal page and then a professional page. And then all of the stuff that we talked about today is going on the professional page and the personal page. And
so
then
the data tells us that that people are going to engage with your personal page more often. So what I'm saying is you would post like your 20% onto your business page, right? And also your ads. You're gonna run both the 20% and your ads off of your business profile. And then on your personal profile, it's gonna be all the things that and there might be some real estate things on your personal, but it's gonna be like obliquely there, right? So like if you go to, I'm trying to think who does this really, really well, because I don't, but if you go to a personal page and you might have like a picture of or a video of me walking down the street. There's a great example. I'm walking down the street. Well, I'm walking to an appointment. And so you may be like, hey, I'm on my way to go meet with some amazing clients or whatever, but gosh, this spring day is just so gorgeous. I had to share it with you all. I'm over in the blah, blah, blah neighborhood. And can you believe that they have a fountain in the middle of their park? Right. So that's not really intended to be like a business post. It was intended to be like a day in the life. It's what we call our POV section, like what it's like to be Jeremiah, right? Like when he's on appointment or when he's just living his life, like what that's actually like. So that's the intention of it. That would go on my personal page. It wouldn't go on my business page, but it is kind of slightly business related because I did mention I was on my way to an appointment. But my life and my business often integrate. So when I think about what I post, I'm intentionally posting things that will engage with the groups of people that is my audience in a personal way. but almost always there's an opportunity for you to connect with me personally, even though my personal page isn't branded that way.
Okay.
Is that
Is it-
helpful or was that more confusing?
No, that was actually so
Okay.
clear. I totally understand now. I do have a question that's very specific to me. Should I email that to you? Or should I ask it?
You can ask it or you can email it. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. If you want to share, share. We've got time.
Well, I have a side hustle. I have an Etsy shop and I make cocktail napkins, like beautiful cloth cocktail napkins, and I
Okay.
sell them. But all that information goes from my that little business page pushes to my personal page. So like I have kind of a few things going on. So do I shut that down or do I keep that going as well?
I don't think that I would shut it down because it takes away from who you are. And we talked a lot about that today, about authenticity and your unique perspective. I'm wondering how you might leverage that for yourself. See what I did there? I'm wondering how you might leverage that for yourself, though, to show up in a different way. So rather than being kind of like the salesperson on your side hustle, I think I would treat that side hustle the same way I treat my real estate business. So I might post about things on my personal page, like maybe I'm going to pick out fabric, or I got some new thread I'm excited about, or I don't know much about your business, so I can't really recommend. But like maybe you got a new program for the embroidery machine that you just like, it just blows your mind, right? But sharing about your business in a personal way is still considered personal. So,
Okay.
I mean, I don't think that I would try to push any products there. Definitely not. I wouldn't try to sell you anything there. Definitely not. But I might say like, okay, like in addition to crushing it in real estate or whatever on my business page, on my crushing it in real estate, I'm also really enjoying this new embroidery pattern that I just finished. Comment below and tell me like, yes or no, thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you guys love it? Thumbs up. So getting people to engage in the comment section, and also I didn't mention this earlier, but polls are also a great post for you to post like, do you like it? Do you not like it? Or what's your favorite? It's a way to solicit information from people about their likes as well, in addition to like having them engage on your platform. So asking questions is like a great way to get people engaged and following you in a real way.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
taking the time to answer that. I
Oh
appreciate
my
it.
gosh, of course, my pleasure. Who has other questions? Okay, we had one more question in my list here, or no, two more actually. It's one said, which groups of people to engage? Okay, I hope that question got answered today, but I will just reiterate that the people and groups that you're engaging are the ones who are most like you, and that should be the intention. We're trying to get the people who know you, like you, trust you, and also the people who like the same things that you like in the same place at the same time, talking about the same things. If we can do that, you now have a group, and that group of people, this is the best part. That group of people is going to know other people that will know you, like you, and trust you, who are also going to know people who could know you, like you, and trust you, who are also going to know people who could know you, like you, and trust you. This is the idea behind lead generation and database growth, right? It's the same concept, just applied to social media. So when you meet someone on social media and they follow you, I will say there's a small caveat that you got to be careful about, like the way that you approach someone on social media to ask them for referrals. You need to know them in real life first. But that's why I say knowing someone on social media provides an opportunity for you to get to know them in real life. And when you know them in real life and you have earned the right to have trust between you two, then you can ask for the referral. That makes sense? You can ask online, but you're unlikely to get an answer that will help you. And then the last thing I have on my list was someone said something about Facebook and Instagram followers, but I didn't write the rest of the questions. No, I don't know what it actually is. Okay, what else would add value to your lives in terms of social media and lead generation and capturing more leads with social media?
When you were talking about the concert idea, I want to
Yeah.
know, do you think it's a safe thing or a cool thing or something like that when you're talking about creating groups? Like if Gary were to do like happy hour at the concert where he, like, or something like meet up and let's get, I mean, is that weird on social media to do things like that? Or is that totally okay to do? You know, like to like, it, is that like a straight, like, what would people, I mean, I don't know how I'd respond to that as a human. Would I go and like, would I meet up? I don't know. You know, like that kind of thing. Is that something people are doing?
Sure. I should remind you that like when you're looking on, you know, a social media group or whatever, that there's, for Gary's social media group, for example, like there's high visibility. You know what Gary looks like. You can search all of his content. You actually do know him a little bit prior to meeting kind of in real life. I think if you had like no content whatsoever and it was just like backgrounds with text words or whatever, I would not meet that person at a concert. No, I wouldn't, right? Like I might, you know, engage with them on social media or whatever, but like you also know that Gary has earned the right to invite those people because his social media platform has reached a stage where like people can know him well enough that they're ready to meet him in real life. So I think, does that answer your question?
Yeah, so it's more, it definitely has to be like a natural progression, like if you were, yeah, okay. I just wondered about that. I was thinking about.
I mean, I liken it similar to like, if you met someone on a first date and they said, we're leaving in 1 hour to go on a worldwide tour, we'll be gone for 10 months. I'm going to pay for everything. Would you get on the plane?
No.
Yeah, same thing with social media. Like if there's nothing on their profile page, like no one's going to meet you in real life. Some people even don't want to meet you in real life because there are like the way that they are portrayed, if they're kind of anonymously, like then that might change their desire to meet you. But like I said, these Facebook groups are an opportunity for you to know people in a real way, much more deeply than you would say the average Facebook user, because you already have a united passion around concert going or pets, dogs, or coffee.
Got it. Thank you.
Catherine, what will your post be today?
I'm not sure.
Well, you've got some exciting things happening in your world right now. Number one, you're waiting for your background check to clear on this new career that you're embarking on. Like I would have several posts up already. We actually have a system for new agents, but like I would have several posts up of like ready and scheduled already. You can do things like, I don't know where your workspace is, but people love to get a back, like a behind the velvet curtain view of what it's like to be Catherine and be a real estate agent. So, I mean, I've done this in the past where agents have taken like a photo of their workspace. They've got like their laptop, and it doesn't have to be all pretty, by the way. These particular agents did this, but they made it all pretty, but like their laptop and like a copy of the MREA and like their notebook and their schedule. And they're like, just getting set up for the next 50 years of my life. Can't wait to embark on this new journey and to help others in my area achieve their dreams. And I didn't mention anything about real estate, so it's not illegal. I don't know that maybe I would include the MREA in that particular post because that might get you in trouble for copyright violations. But the rest, like your desk and getting prepared, like, and then people are going to start asking you, like, what are you, Catherine, what are you embarking on? Where are you going? What are you doing? Right? Oh, well, I have recently started looking into becoming a realtor or broker, or I don't know what you're doing actually, but like if that's what you were doing, like that's what I would say, right? Mm-hmm. And now we're creating opportunities for organic conversations with people in real life that will be appointments. And if you've taken the rest of this Ignite courses so far, you know that like the legionary piece in creating appointments is paramount and critical to your success as an agent and a broker. So social media is just a way to do that. And then I would probably, for you, Catherine, I'd probably also post after the background check comes in like a hooray. And then I would probably post like, here's what to do next. And then I would probably post like, here's what you can expect when you work with Catherine. And then I would do posts for your new logos, your new stationery, your new business cards, everything that's new about what's happening in your life and your business right now could be a post, because then everyone gets to have like a front row seat to the things that are happening in Catherine's world. Like she's on a journey, we get to go with her.
That's exciting.
You could totally put a picture of the new puppy and make that, right?
Oh, and I would even better. I would like offer people an opportunity in that, like we're scheduling cuddle appointments now. Check out this cutie.
That's cute.
Right? I get the sense that because you have so many animals, you probably don't go to a dog park. Your home is probably large enough that it includes a small dog park. At least I hope it does.
Yeah,
And
about 5
um,
acres.
Oh, yes. Plenty of- I think like that's another thing. You obviously love animals. Like, what if you offered people an opportunity to come by and experience the animals or bring their animal and experience the space?
Good idea.
I don't know. I can't off the top of my head think of an idea for like a doggy event, but it occurs to me that I think that would be really amazing. Like Catherine's first annual doggy run, and you could make it like a little obstacle course for the dogs, and there would be like little pup treats for all of the contestants, and then maybe they get like a little bandana, from one of the shelters when they win.
That's
That's
such a
cute.
good idea.
I would go to that.
So cute.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if no one has any more questions, I will give you guys back 9 minutes of your day. I want to say thank you so much for joining me. I do truly hope that you got great value out of our time together.
It was wonderful.
You guys know that you can reach out to not only your coaches who have a direct line access to myself and my team, but you can also reach out to the rest of your kind of XBN team by going to experiencebrokersnetwork.com. It's the exclusive portal that's built for XBN agents. There's a ton of curated information to include all of our YouTube channels and videos and access to all the training that you will ever need to grow and scale your business to the highest levels possible. Also know that people like me are just here and we want to help. And we're super excited for all of you to see what you're going to do and where you're going to go and to grow your business kind of how you want to. So now I'm going to give you 8 minutes back of your time. Thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you. I have been your very honored guest and host for our time together. Please keep me apprised of your success. I'm always, I stay curious and I'm always wondering how all of you are doing. So please don't lose contact. Feel free to reach out when you can. And until the next time we connect, take care.
Thank you so much. It was
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.